Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Digital Identity Matters. Basically, this is an event brought to you by TechCabal and also VerifyMe. Actually, brought to you by VerifyMe and powered by TechCabal, just to cover all the conversations around the industry in Nigeria and how we could better be able to push the conversation of, at least we're moving into a digital economy. It's important that we're able to digitally identify everybody. I mean, there was a time when post office box or your post office address was probably the most important thing to most people. But now we live in a digital economy where verification of everybody's individual identity is very important. So we're going to be going to a few conversations today and generally having a robust conversation around identity, around insurance, around you, and around me. So we're going to get to know a lot about ourselves. So first, let's start with understanding what our host does and basically understanding what they're doing. So VerifyMe is building Nigeria's trust infrastructure by offering digital identity and verification services to a wide range of industries and the retail market. Licensed by the National Identity Management Commission, their verification services are available by API or via full service managed verification platform. So if you are a startup founder, you are in any company basically that generally needs to verify their users in any way, you should speak to VerifyMe. And if you're also on the other side and you also just want your verification to be seamless, you should also speak to them. That is the beginning part of it, just trying to understand what VerifyMe does. And basically they will be, want to say thank you for them for putting this together. You all know TechCabal. TechCabal is the, you know when you hear all those adverts and you say powered by, TechCabal is powering this event today in terms of putting the logistics together. There's a whole team of people in the background. I'm looking. If you notice, I'm looking down. I'm looking at several screens. So yes, I'm conversing with all kinds of people from every part of the world. So I want to thank the TechCabal team for doing the infrastructure around the conversation that we're having today. So we're going to be having this conversation, and it's not just going to be me. I'm going to be having with a few people. The conversations we're going to be having is really right around why insurance is important for the growth of Nigeria's digital economy. We were just having some conversations before we came online about the insurance system in Nigeria, why it isn't bigger, and also the conversation around our myths and basically our trust system. Also, you want to look at it as we're very religious people who would rather say God forbid than actually, prepare for those eventualities that always eventually happen one way or the other. So I'm not going to be doing that alone. I'm going to be joined by a panel. Very distinguished panel, by the way. We're just going to have those conversations and be able to dig into the matters today. So first of all, my name is Tunji Andrews. I will be moderating the conversations. I run a company called Our Bar. So yeah, that is what I do. But I'm going to also introduce a few members of the panel who will be joining me to do justice to the conversation we're going to be having. So the first person is the Chief Digital Officer at AXA Mansard PLC, Group Head of E-commerce and Digital Transformation, a position he has held since 2017. He's responsible for driving the digitization of core business processes and deepening strategic e-partnerships. He's also in charge of the growth of the e-commerce section of the company while enhancing product innovation and portfolio management. I'm talking about the person of Bayo Adesanya. Bayo, could you just say a small wave, say hi to the people?
Hi, and Bayo, Tunji, it's Bayo.
Oh, Bayo, sorry.
Everyone.
I
It's good to be
don't
here.
know what happened to my eyes. Sorry, Bayo. Did I say Dio? I don't know why I said that. Sorry, Bayo. I apologize for that. Really sorry for that. So from Bayo, the next person is the co-founder and chief executive officer of VerifyMe Nigeria. He's responsible for fulfilling the company's vision and mission and developing strategic solutions for long-term growth. He has served previously as VerifyMe's chief operating officer, a seasoned expert in systems engineering, enterprise and solutions architecture business. I'm talking about the person of Esigie Aguele. Did I get that right?
You did. Esigie Aguele, perfect.
Yeah, take a bow.
Yeah, because it's not easy to get it right. That's a good one.
Yeah. You know, I struggle with names from your part of town, and I know a lot of people there, so I'm wondering why. It's weird, but yeah. So
okay.
Last but not least, and probably the chief Oga of the panel, this person builds and operates ventures. She has successfully designed and built and scaled tech-driven platform companies in emerging markets, delivering plus $100 million businesses. She was the VP Growth and Managing Director, Nigeria for Migo, that is formerly known as Minds, a machine learning powered instant credit platform. Prior to that, she was the director of digital business at Nine Mobile, formerly Etisalat Nigeria, where she was responsible for partnering with startups to deliver mobile content, advertising, financial, and API services. I'm talking about Adia Sowho. Adia, are you there?
I am.
Boom! Oh my God! Oh, sorry. That took me by surprise. Oh my God!
You know.
Whoa!
Oh, you didn't recognize me. Is that what's happening here, Tunji?
What did you say?
You didn't recognize me in my new look.
I'm telling you, I was very taken away. Yeah, you're looking very takeaway. So forgive me, guys. Forgive me.
I'm just telling you, you woke up like this.
Exactly. I don't understand it. Like I look like
you know. It's amazing. It's amazing. I'm just like, wow, this is beautiful. So guys, so we're gonna have those conversations, and by the way, Adia is also CEO at Thrive Agric. In case I missed that out, so let's have this conversation, guys. I'm going to start with you, Adia. So before we went on live, there was this conversation about what do you call it, insurance in Nigeria, and there was the general thought. I'm going to come to Bayo in a short bit because I mean, I know Bayo would speak about it from an industry perspective, but for somebody who is observing and also from outside. Why do you think we're not having greater adoption for insurance in Nigeria as a whole? Because I mean, we all know that, you know, the thing that they say, and everything that can go wrong will go wrong. And we do see those things consistently. We see on social media, people coming and saying, you know, trying to crowdfund for people who have sicknesses, and you know they could just have health insurance prior to, you know, people, their cars get burned or stolen, they could have just had car insurance. House gets burned, they could have had house insurance. But there's so many of those products out there, but people are not adopting it. Why do you think this is happening?
Thanks, Tunji. Happy to be here. Hello, everyone. I think that insurance is a product that carries quite a bit of sophistication. I think it's like when you're trying to have a discussion about insurance with a user versus having a conversation about payments or even credit, which is slightly more complicated. Those are in a different arena compared with insurance. And also, I think that the mindset of an ideal insurance buyer has to be, you have to have something to protect, right? Where even the possible eventuality of losing that thing, right, really outweighs your ability to get that thing back. You know what I mean? It has to be a significant enough loss where, you know, your approach to your ability to risk it, right? You're really running away from it. And I find that at the sort of middle class, maybe bottom of the pyramid type of level in Nigeria, those mindsets are not pervasive, if they even exist at all, right? So it's really, and you alluded to it, right? You said, you know, why would, when you can say God is in control, why buy insurance? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And look at even the country's reaction to COVID, right? I could get COVID, but I will surely die from hunger, right? So I'm going to step out anyway. I just think that there are some prerequisites, right, in terms of the holistic financial system, right? All of which feeds into the philosophy of an ideal finance, an insurance buyer, which don't exist. You know what I mean? If you don't have a house that can burn down, or if it's someone else's house, what's your own? If you got the furniture, if you didn't buy the furniture that's in your house because you got it from your community or a family member, what's your own? You know what I mean? Like if you know, so for me, we are not at that level of sophistication in our thinking just yet. So yeah, that would be my take. And I say this again, having sold or attempted to sell insurance and failed, right? So I am speaking from some experience, having tried to insurance to users, right? Because there were lots and lots of conversations I had when I was at 9 Mobile with every insurance company in Nigeria, right? But the prevailing part of those propositions was the telco should pay for the insurance and then gift it to their customer. Because unfortunately, the insurance companies, Bayo, remember I love you, right? They couldn't come up with a better value proposition than 9 Mobile, you pay me, then you just give it to your users. And I would always tilt my head and be like, excuse me, what? We have other things to do, like build a network. Why am I paying you for insurance that my user has not come to meet me to ask for? So I should force them to use it, right? And then what happens when you now go and claim it? Stories that touch. Then who do they now hold, right? The telco? I don't have a customer service center big enough to deal with those kind of issues. So for me, you know, I feel like I believe in insurance. So let it be, you know, I want to be clear. I have insurance. Okay. But I think that there are some steps to take before it becomes a popular value proposition. Interesting that we mentioned the government and the role they play. And to be fair, the government plays a strong role, even in developed markets, in building and propping up the industry. But you see, we don't live in a place where that happens. So we have to now come back to the value proposition. If you ask me, let me stop there.
All right. Thank you for that. Let me come to Bayo. Bayo, you know, one of the things I remembered was when one big supermarket in Lekki burnt to the ground. I remember thinking to myself that day that, God, if this person doesn't have insurance, I personally would, if I see him, I wouldn't be remorseful. I would probably try to even attack him, because you can't have such a large venture and not have insurance. But now we're speaking more towards the financial technology industry. Why do you think that it is important to fintech businesses, and why do you think they should pay more attention to it? All right, Bayo, I think let's come back to you. Your internet connection is a bit poor, or maybe it just went in and out for a second there. Yeah, I think, yeah. Okay. I see. Let me come to you. Esigie, let me come to you. So I'm thinking about the conversation back to front. Digital identity. You are the digital identity guy, and there's a lot of conversations around, you know, because one of the things Adia said earlier, you know, when she was talking about, you know, when she was at 9 Mobile, and then there was a conversation between insurance companies and telcos. And, you know, I'd had a similar conversation somewhere, and I was asking the question of, so if the person wants to claim, you know, how do we know? You know, first of all, how do we know this person was the person that, applied for the product itself? then how do we even take the next step into verifying the claim? How do we just not know that, because it's if it is going to be digital and, you're not really there to confirm, how do we know that people are not going to try and, fall ill and then quickly sign up to health insurance, or their car burns and then they quickly sign up to, car insurance or something like that? Those thoughts were just crossing my mind, and the idea of verification, just being able to, cross those barriers. You guys are into the digital identity space. Let me ask, what is the role of digital identity when it comes to insurance?
I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry. Can I just jump in here? I want to ask you something, right? Why is that a bad thing? Right? When there's an incident, hold on. Why is that a bad thing? Okay. So like why does that have to be a bad thing? We can come back to it, right? I don't think it should be. I think you charge a customer that behaves like that differently, right? Okay. Because you still, at the end of the day, they learn the value of insurance at last, right? But then you charge a customer like that. Sorry. Yeah, Esigie, I'm so sorry. Please carry on.
No, repeat that. Actually, my volume went off for a second. I'm not really sure why. I could see the video, but there was no volume. So go ahead and say it again.
Okay, no, I was asking why someone claiming at the point of need or buying insurance at the point of need is a bad thing, right? I think with a small adjustment to the model for insurance, right? Maybe a different charging model. So maybe you are buying the insurance now when your car is burnt, you need to pay me X instead of a monthly. You know what I mean? But again,
I think Bayo will be able to answer that question better. But exactly. Let's start with you first. Bayo's rolled his eyes. Bayo's already thinking like how we're going to go about that. But let's ask Esigie. Esigie, how do you it's important to the industry, but how then do we verify the person on the other side of the phone? I can't see you send me a USSD code, which is a code, has no picture. How do I know it's you?
So this is one of the great things about VerifyMe. And I'm sure regarding Adia's question, right? Bayo is probably rolling his eyes like Adia is already digging into my pocket. And we are 5 minutes into this conversation, right? But I would tell you this, right? So this is one of the reasons we have CBN Tier 3 compliant and anti-money laundering compliant verification services. And this is why what VerifyMe leverages is your trusted identity that the government, or your foundational identity that the government has given you. And even when we use your functional identity, we use anti-money laundering and CBN Tier 3 compliant ones that actually bounce off of your foundational identity, which is NIN. So for example, the other ID products we have are driver's license, BVN, and other very powerful functional identities. Now, so the first thing is the first layer of making sure that the person applying for that is actually even a real legal identity. The second thing with companies like ours, and we've had to innovate, is how do we come up with products that can now make sure that our customers, like, so for example, an AXA Mansard is secure. And we actually provide products like facial recognition to make sure that when I'm sitting down in my house and I use my legal identity to get insurance, VerifyMe can provide facial recognition services to our customers to make sure that the ID that's applying for that product, right, is actually the person that's doing it at the point in time. And this is really one of the things that closes the credibility gap for us, right? Which is what we're here to do, is close the credibility gap for our insurance customers. Now, another way we help is, and you talked about, asset verification in terms of being able to verify, a house. How do you know the insurance company, for example, is, my house didn't just get burned down. It's in a rural area. It's difficult to find. I just go and get insurance today, if I can get it online. This is why actually, and, something very interesting that has come out of our we call it verification engine, is as we started to do address verifications for about 16 banks across the country and do tens of thousands of address verifications in a month, we also found out that we could verify our insurance customers' assets. So somebody, for example, who applies for health insurance, for home insurance or car insurance, VerifyMe has the ability to verify our insurance customers' assets in all 772 local governments in Nigeria, except where there's an insurgency. So this is one of the ways we're closing the gap. Now, it doesn't deal with the question of, the issue with recovery. Of course, a lot of our insurance, customers or claims also use us at the point of claims. So they also check at the point of claims as well. But what we're doing in terms of digitization, and I know we talked about the big gap, and Adia is so correct with saying that the culture of Nigeria is what actually stifles a lot of the penetration in the country. But if you even look at the 1% set, right, of people who are actually buying insurance in Nigeria today, which is maybe about 8 to 10 million people, because we have about 1% penetration on our population, right? Even with that set, the compliance and the regulation is not even strong enough to take that revenue that adds to GDP, which is at 1 billion now. We can probably even take it to 3 million with things like making sure there's regulation on checking driver's license for to buy car insurance, with things like making sure that cars have proper car insurance, and using other data as a service products like driver's license ticketing scores to help reduce or increase driver's license insurance premiums as customers apply. The technology is there, the APIs are there today, but even with the market we already have, there's still a lot of need for regulation and enforcement, so we can even grow that market while we are still working on the cultural issue, or I would say working on the economic issue that would change cultural perceptions so that we can even grow much, much bigger. And to give you an idea of the size of the market we talked about earlier, right? The insurance market in South Africa, a country that's 1/3 the size of Nigeria, is $50 billion. 1/3 the size of Nigeria. This is potentially one of our biggest GDP contributors. And by the way, insurance contributes about 17% to the GDP in South Africa. I think insurance contributes less than 1% to the GDP in Nigeria. And so these are some of the things that we should be looking at in terms of, some members of our government really waking up every day and realizing that this needs to be a mission as well. We have the digital APIs for it, and we need the regulation to help support it as well. I'll stop there.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Is Bayo, you have, Bayo is, I'm not sure is still here. Okay. So, yes, continue the conversation. I really am very interested in how insurance can drive many things in the entire economy. So there is a conversation to be had. Adia, let me come to you. There is a conversation to be had. I want to speak to generally the experience that you have is amazing, because you have done quite a bit in trying to attend to, I wouldn't say last mile customers, but customers who are your everyday Nigerian. And when we are speaking about insurance and the penetration of it, we're really, really speaking about these people, because the higher you are up, is either your office gets it for you, or the company you work, or something. You just stumble into insurance somehow. So we're really talking about those people. Now, the thing I've always wondered really is around the penetration and the conversation with the penetration, and also in dispensing this thing we call insurance. The average person in Nigeria lives day to day. It is a day upon day kind of scenario. I remember when I was going to buy health insurance, because if you know the way I have always been, I've always had to buy insurance yearly, lump sum, individually. And I see that is a very, I don't want to use the word elitist, but it almost feels elitist in the context of a lot of Nigerians. And there are a lot of people who want to dispense this thing day to day, month to month, week to week sometimes. How do we do this? Bayo may be able to help, he's just coming, but I wanted to ask, you might have had ideas on how that can happen, or how that can succeed in that area, because we need to be able to dispense it to these people. If we're able to dispense it to them, the industry is bigger by numbers. How do we dispense it to them?
So I like the way you put it, right? You know, I do think that insurance is elitist at the moment, unfortunately. And I think as long as it remains elitist, it will not achieve mass market adoption. Now, I think there should be mass market adoption of insurance, but in its current form, I don't know how that's possible. We can try to use regulation as the weapon, but how often does that work in this environment, right? Where we barely have what percentage of Nigerians have a BVN? What percentage of Nigerians have done NIN? But between the two initiatives, 50 million Nigerians, and they say we're 200 plus million? The rest of the people, if you ask me, right, don't see the value of having such. And again, it's because we have used regulation as a weapon and not, in a low trust environment, I ask myself, if you try to use a stick, how successful can you be when you don't have the systems to enforce the stick, right? So use a carrot instead. So to me, I think there are opportunities to potentially reimagine, I should say, insurance. What do warranties do? What does assurance look like? That's a term I don't hear often, right? Where there's an event that's going to happen. Death is an event that's going to happen.
I'm going to assure you that.
Yes, this is at that point in time, since you live day to day, right? Put away a little something every day, right? Call it a more sophisticated type of agile, right? But I don't know. I'm not an actuary, right? We'll have to see whether there's a business model to be had there. But for me, we have to go in that type of direction to get mass market adoption. And then when you sell them one product, you then up-level them to the elitist product. And then it becomes a badge of honor. Oh, I actually have insurance. I'm past all the assurance. You know what I mean? It's like I used to have a Palasa phone. Now I carry an iPhone. There are many ways you can have that conversation with a consumer, from my experience, right? Where you show them that you can upgrade them, right? And if you tell somebody, I'm taking you from day to day, there's data, you can now get credit. That credit allows you to build wealth, and that wealth needs to be protected in whatever form that wealth manifests in your life. And insurance is the way to protect that wealth. So there's a story, but we are starting at the, Dangote end of the story. And I'm like,
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Bayo, you're on this. Are you here with us now?
So yeah, again, my apologies to everybody. I'm switching between 3 different internet providers. It's never happened before, so I don't know what's going on this morning.
No Wi-Fi insurance, Bayo.
I have insurance for my Wi-Fi, insurance for my wireless. So that's why I have multiple ones. That's insurance for it, right?
That's what Nigerians do. Get redundancy instead of insurance.
Yeah. So just very quickly, Adia has explained. I don't even know if I can explain better what I will speak. I'll speak for my company, right? That's what we are trying to do, and we have done something along those lines before, not even just one. I'm sure Adia will know about Yellow Life, which we had a few years ago, where for 500 naira or 50 naira, actually, from your airtime, then you get life insurance, and as long as that's just coming off, it's being deducted, every week or every month or whatever, you're good. Now, that is the model, that is the way to get the emerging customers into this whole conversation around insurance. I don't know how much I've missed, but right now, and I'm sure most of the people on this call will know, market penetration for insurance is at 1% of adults in Nigeria. Okay? Adults in Nigeria, if you slice it and dice it, working age population, fine. You're probably looking at maybe 30 million, let me be gracious, let's say generous, let's say 30 million people. Okay, 1% of 30 million people, is that market, as we say? Is that really addressing the problem? No. Those of us in the space know that, or we ought to know that, growth, real growth, going outside that 1% that everybody's been fighting over for the past 10 years or 20 years or from forever, the real growth opportunities, certainly in retail insurance, growth lies in retail. And a lot of that retail insurance is in this emerging customer space. That's the honest truth. So that segment will not buy a lot of the products that are on offer today because those products were not designed for them. So you must design products that are, as you have said, affordable, that are relevant, and can be consumed cheaply. The mobile phone, Palasa phone, feature phone, basic phone, whatever name you want to call it, is a massive tool in achieving this objective. So that's what we're doing, So that's all I will just quickly say in there. There's
you still have many questions to answer.
Okay, great.
I mean,
Please
you missed a lot. There was the conversation around dispensing this thing called insurance to a lot of people. I have been doing a lot of work around financial inclusion and literacy for a long time, and I always realize that the assumption that these people do not understand financial conversation is always very assuming. They understand it, just that we tend to speak it in a different language that they understand. Adia spoke earlier about the Agile model. They understand the Agile model very perfectly. In fact, the Agile is the one thing they understand very well. So, the average person, maybe the market woman, she has Agile for her children's school fees, Agile for the rent, Agile for the new machine. And it might be different Agile collectors that are collecting this different Agile, but she understands it clearly as this is the route to her ability to do this. So if we were to bring insurance to her anyways, if we start speaking about it from premiums, she's lost, she's gone. She's just looking at you like, what are you talking about? But if you had to speak about it from, this is the Agile that makes you be able to do this, then you are speaking a language. And I was asking about the dispensing of the conversation of insurance, especially in the last mile. And I know you've spoken about Yellow Life, and I'm sorry, was it Yellow Life? I can't remember if that was what you called it. But I wanted to ask, have we lost Bayo again?
Okay.
Oh my God.
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay. So I wanted to ask about the dispensing, because I also realized, and I don't know if this was intentional, was that because I heard about this product, but when it was being sold, it was being jingled in English-speaking radio stations. It was being newspaper ads. It was being sold to me that I don't need it, if you get what I mean. How are we dispensing? Because that's, for me, that's the conversation.
Okay, all right. So again, let me try and quickly speak before my 3 networks give up on me. So very, very quickly, Tunji, the Yellow Life product that I mentioned earlier, that is probably our best-selling product till date. Unfortunately, the regulators had issues with it, and we had to shut that down. But it represents a model, certainly one that we must then replicate, okay? Figuring the kinks out with the regulators. However, back to the question about, the last mile, or how do you dispense, etc. So there are a few options that we do at the moment. One is driving, this onboarding through partner agents, all right? It's a phygital strategy approach, so a combination of physical and digital. Especially when you're dealing with customers in this space, okay? So you can't go there and speak plenty grammar. And a few of them, many of them actually have smartphones as well, but many more have the basic phones that you're talking about, and they're not clustered together in urban centers, etc. You need reach. Reach we achieve with partners. So we partner up with Paga, InterSwitch, etc. to speak physically and onboard these customers as well. Second one is to water down the KYC requirements. So again, you're not asking for 20 items, When I see you, Tunji, I can ask you for 20 things. You're ready to give me all the grammar that I need. Can I onboard you with your name and your phone number? Because we know there's well over, 100 million phones in the country. Okay, so that becomes basic. Third is then also complementing this with digital, so as much as possible, try and eliminate, I can't take paper into the rural areas. Can you hear me?
Yes,
I think
we can.
I have frozen again.
No, we can.
Okay, very good.
Keep going.
So I think yeah, leveraging a lot on USSD, okay, instead of paper or all these grandiose things that might work in the urban sex centers, or when you're dealing with middle to upper segments, income segments. Those are the approaches. Lastly, why not use scratch cards as well? So programs that encourage people. Yeah, so you partner up with the people, understand scratch cards, they understand airtime, they understand punching numbers into their phones, etc. That's the way to go. That's what we're doing.
Solid. I really appreciate that. Esigie, let me come to you, because this entirely, this just segues to you in every way. Lower KYC means at least ensuring that whatever KYC requirements are given are authentic. How do you ensure this? Exactly.
Yes. Well, so that's good. That's good. So that's why we're a KYC services company. And that's why we're licensed. That's why we're regulated. And that's why we're compliant with Nigerian data privacy protection and AML and CBN Tier 3. So we do not use authoritative sources of identity that do not have the highest standards of integrity. So that's the first thing, right? It needs to meet all those standards. So any customer that is using our trust infrastructure is guaranteed that is a legal identity that has the highest standards according to Nigerian law and even international law in terms of the way it's collected and the way it's linked to biometrics. So we don't use forms of IDs that are not linked to biometrics, because those ones, you can change your identity. And let me just add, Bayo didn't mention that we are actually one of the onboarding partners as well. He mentioned Paga and others, but we are the digital onboarding partner also for AXA. And digital, exactly. And so we also do the onboarding with phone number, which is one of the powerful ways we have to reach 100 million people in Nigeria, because we have a powerful ecosystem that can provide trusted identities with phone number as well. So in terms of trusted identities, one of the things is, and this is why, we went through a lot, of compliance, I would say questions, to deal with many of our customers. We make sure that our data has integrity. We guarantee the integrity. But it's also important, like everyone has said, that we expand the customer base. So right now, I believe 57 million people have their NIN, maybe about 45 million have their BVN, and there's probably an 85% overlap, right there, or 90% overlap. So really, you're probably talking 60 million people that have some form of formal documentation in an economy of 100 and maybe 50 million, because I think we have 65% between 80 and 35. Which is also a very high population. So one of the things we also do is we're in the ecosystem to be able to register Nigerians for their NIN, their national ID. And we plug into our customers' workflow so that we can reach unbanked as well. So the additional, 100 million unbanked, we bring that powerful product to our customers where they can also reach that market. In terms of customer onboarding, we're really in the domestic space as well, because so many people use us for their domestic customer onboarding in terms of drivers and domestic workers. We have contracts across Lagos that cover up to 5 million domestic workers in Lagos alone. We're also in the Lazra ecosystem. We have the ability to drive a very high population of Nigerians banked, and the ones that are unbanked, when we bank them, drive that population as well to our marketplace so that our customers can offer them products. So this is one of the things that we're able to do and how we contribute to the potential of the insurance industry. So like I said, we're not fintech, but we're definitely fintech enabling.
All right, so I wanted to go back to a question. Now, please, if you're in the audience, please do write your question, put it in the question, the chat room. Please also let me know who you're directing the question to so that it can be easier for me. But I wanted to go back to something we said in passing, and I wanted to hear Bayo's thoughts around it. And it was an interesting thought. In fact, it ties everybody together. So I was asking about how do we know if somebody is not claiming at the point of the event? And Adia made a very important conversation. I mean, that's, for me, I also get that that's probably one of the best areas of proof that you can put before anybody, you know? You're sick? Well, you can sign up to this and then go to the hospital. It's just that you have to pay a premium. You know, if you had paid before, it would have worked a bit better. And I wanted to ask, let's start with Bayo. Is it possible? I mean, is it still insurance at that point? Is it possible to do this?
Tunji, so, you know, the quick answer I will give you is yes, but then let me then explain. What does happen is somebody who failed to renew their policy, okay, then has an event occur, and then they
quickly renew.
You know, come and yes, insurance is not charity, you know, and I say that with all due respect to everybody, but it's the honest truth, right? Insurance is a preemptive contract you go into, right? So that when life happens, when events occur, when these things happen, you shall cover, okay, to make sure that you can keep functioning. Can you hear me, Tunji?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah,
I can hear you, yes.
Okay, very good, very good. So the normal practice, of course, is that you've entered into that contract before it happens, right? Then when it happens, based on the terms, you get your payout. If I give you a personal story, I was robbed at gunpoint with my entire nuclear young family in 2010, okay? Driven around, eventually we were let out of the car. I never got the car back. So I had one child at the time and the other one in the belly, okay? Youngish at that time. The fact that I had comprehensive car insurance, including the excess buyback, which means, very quick explanation for that is, you know, everybody who's on the call, if you have comprehensive car insurance, ask for the buyback amount and pay it as well. In case of a total loss, there is no story. Nobody is going to come and ask you to contribute anything else. So that is what saved me at that point, you know, everyone listening. So they pay out from the insurance company and they paid out within 2 to 3 months or thereabouts. Then I was able to add a little bit more money because, of course, Madam said, no, we have to step up from that other card now. I said, okay, all right, you know. And then I was able to then buy a new car. Okay, that's how insurance normally works. Now, if you're in a situation where you're already, for example, sick, okay, and then you want to get insurance, that's already sort of close to you paying out of pocket because the event has occurred already. And you will end up paying more than you would have paid if you had the protection. Do you understand? So this is the point. You can get the insurance at that point. The premium that Adia talks about is then that, yes, you're already sick, no problem. I mean, like us, we have our partner network of hospitals. No, go to the hospital, go and get treatment there. You are going to pay out of pocket now, right? And then your insurance kicks in after. That is that premium. If you had paid before, you would be paying far less. And the premium is available for you to pay. We have policies that you can pay weekly, you can pay monthly, you can pay for quarterly, half yearly, or annually, depending on the size of your pocket. So this is part of the response that we also are giving to address, this problem of insurance, like Adia said at the beginning, where, it's clearly like an elitist concept. Why am I going to pay you 100,000 naira today? Why can I not pay you, 100 naira daily? Why don't you just take it out of my account, which we also have now? You said, it's a standing order, direct debit. Just set it up, forget about it. Is it 50 naira? We take it like that, so that when the thing happens, you have policies where you pay 1,000 naira, and it can cover you, provide cover for up to 100,000 or more. That's a good deal.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm pretty interested in the conversation. Now, I'm seeing a lot of questions coming in, and I want to start asking those questions. I think, Bayo, you are the one to answer this, because I think there's a regulation issue. Some people are asking, is it possible to have a pension plan combo with health cover? That's not the way the question has come, but it's been asked by multiple people. So I'm saying, let me ask it like this. Is it possible to combo one with the other? Because, okay, everybody, I'll ask the different questions, but this is the one I see that is repeated. So, and the question is, can you combo both? Especially looking at it from the last mile perspective.
The straight answer is that because there are two completely different, you're talking about two different regulatory environments, PENCOM versus NICOM. Okay, and if you look into it as well, pensions is the money you put away, for your retirement. The funds are in there, and you're supposed to then be able to access them when you stop working. So at the moment, no. And we used to have a pensions, a pension fund administrator within our group, which we've divested from at the moment. But even when they were with us, the regulators were very, very insistent, and very clear. It was almost, in fact, not almost, it was literally, these are two separate companies. So keep accounts separate, keep customers separate, keep everything separate. Even your marketing and your communications, keep them separate. All right, that's the regulatory environment that we're in right now. So the answer is no, you can't do that at the moment.
Couldn't you use agents? You said something about onboarding agents. Couldn't your onboarding agents do that?
So they would sell you, what they can do, right, is they can then offer you the opportunity to buy either an insurance policy or a pension plan. I mean, so that can happen, but they are selling you two different products, not together. I'm trying to make that distinction.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
If you walk into, if you come to us now and say you want to buy a pension plan, we can recommend, you to any of the PFA.
Thank you for that. It was very clear. So let me ask the questions that I'm seeing in the chat. This is Abimbola Abimbola. I'm glad to be here. We are indeed trying to simplify understanding insurance and making it less sophisticated for the insuring public. We're also trying to create more awareness. For that, we thank you for putting up this webinar. This is Bimbo Ono Kumai. Yeah, this is the MD Peak Thrust Insurance Brokers. Everybody's saying mandatory insurance, such as requirement to have auto insurance, helps. This is from Tijan Watt. This is Wuri Ventures. But is it possible? Can we force people to have insurance?
Good luck with
it. I agree. I agree. It's going to be hard. What do you say, Bayo?
Well, Adia, so there is some, enforcement or compelling evidence of compelling people to get insurance. If you're driving around without any type of insurance cover and something does happen, usually when it hits your pocket, third-party insurance is 5,000 naira, right? So between that, and that provides some level of cover for the other person in the accident. So not for you directly, but at least you get some cover for any damage you might do to, the third party. If it happens that you don't have any cover, you will spend more than that 5,000 naira. By the time you've done that once, twice, 3 times, usually people then try and comply. The other problem we have, though, along that line, is to say that unfortunately there are some unscrupulous operators in the market who will then take advantage of people to sell. The man is here or the woman is here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so let me see if I can add a little bit to the enforcement side of it, because one of the things we know is there are 2 areas where we can leverage enforcement today. So and I think I was talking to Bayo about this earlier, about 1/3 of the cars in Nigeria, I think maybe there are 15 million registered that we know of, have car insurance, right?
Yeah.
Essentially the revenue there through regulation can even be threefold. Another place is where we could have regulation is you can sell car insurance in Nigeria today without needing to verify that the person you're selling car insurance to has a driver's license, right? So in Nigeria you can buy car insurance without a driver's license. In many places that's not even compliant. These are so many areas for regulation that will have instant impact on the GDP and for organizations that we're not even enforcing today. So I think that there are a lot of cultural hurdles for us to get the full benefit of insurance in Nigeria, but there are also regulation hurdles that are low-hanging fruit today that we can accomplish to get to a certain point in insurance.
Yeah, but who stops me from driving around with a dent in my car?
Yeah, but not a dent, right? But LASMA stops you.
Hold on, it doesn't stop me. I have an accident with somebody, right? You bash my car, I bash yours, whatever. We get out, we fight. When we're tired of fighting, everybody drives their dented car away. I don't really, people need to understand that is a very strong proposition, even against the cheapest form of insurance. Because with that one, I walk away and I've spent 0. So even your 5,000 that you think is not a lot of money, sit down there. I mean, you can even delegate the fighting, right? Delegate it to your driver, get some area boys. That's probably going to cost you less than third-party insurance, which may take, you said with your expedited process, it took 3 months for you to get your money, Abi. God knows what the non-expedited process takes. And if it came from an unscrupulous insurance provider, right? So I don't know, my point of view here, I'm trying to help you.
No, I agree with you, but remember that also the regulation and the enforcement also includes the verification to be able to catch fake insurance policies that are sold. The enforcement of when you stop somebody in the streets, in terms of Lagos or any other state, being able to make sure that they have insurance and it being mandatory. But I agree with you, right? We need to have the government culture and infrastructure so that the type of regulation and enforcement works, right?
For me, I think digital identity is a critical foundation if insurance has any hope of mass adoption.
Exactly.
If it is going to succeed in any way.
Yeah. So before we even talk about just say even the basic financial services, you need digital ID.
Yeah.
Of course, payments being the most basic of financial services, and accessible data.
Yes.
Right. Yes. Both of which are the domains that Esigie is working. If you don't have those 3 things, right, I think we're going to continue coming back and forth and looking for ways to force people to buy insurance. Right?
Yeah, no.
I also think that we need to continue to lean into this, I don't really enjoy the word localization, but exploring the context, like you said, you don't need to have a driver's license to buy car insurance, right? That is just an unfortunate local reality of this environment. So what other ways can we enable the use, consumption, and understanding of insurance? But for me, like I said, the fact that I can hit someone's car insult their ancestors and walk away spending zero is still a stronger proposition for me than buying insurance and dealing with the house. I'm just saying.
This is why they keep us on the road in traffic for too long.
Nobody's going to stop me.
Everybody shouting, do you think it's my fault?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nobody.
No, it's happened to me. It's happened to me. Someone has hit my car before, and I just didn't want to deal with the stress. I just didn't want to deal with the stress of the insurance. But to add to what Adia said, we look at it in terms of technology stack. Identity is really the bedrock of everything, right? Which is, what we provide, and then through enrollment services, we're trying to grow the number of people that even actually have the identity so they can join the market. The next step is payments, right? So identity enables payments, really. And then for us, the third part of the stack is now also the data that Adia talks about, which is, and I think Bayo talks about, which is the additional information you can get on the driver's license, the driver's license reports, the driving history, potential credit scoring for higher value insurance products, which is kind of like the third stack for us as well. Where VerifyMe is very powerful and where we enable our customers is on the identity stack, which is the first stack, and also the data as a service stack, which is the third stack. Now, because we don't compete with our customers, we don't get involved on the payment stack. So we're not a KYC company that's going to say we move money, because payment companies are our customers as well. And I find many companies in Nigeria trying to do that. They're a payment company, but they want to do KYC. And I feel in the long term, it's not going to work. We are a Nigerian KYC company looking to be a $1 billion company from the market. But yes, we do have the identities and we do have the data. And to date, the truth of the matter is 5 of the top 10 insurance companies in Nigeria actually use our products.
Yeah. So I want to.
If I can jump in quickly, can you hear me, guys?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Could you just quickly?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked a lot around, and Adia has made the point very, very wonderfully about motor insurance, right? When we're talking about enforcement, Esigie again said, in many foreign countries, you can't get car insurance without a driver's license, which is one way of making sure that you're even, in quotes, a safe user of the road. And that's how it's kind of like a soft enforcement. And that's a model as well that we might want to look to adapt to our own purposes here. But if we go away from car insurance, ladies and gentlemen, and life and health insurance are 2 areas that unite all of us. Not everybody has a car, okay? Some people they don't mind. I bash your car, I will get out and fight. Or if you're like a CJ, you're like, man, I don't even have the time for this wahala. Let me just go, okay? But we will all fall sick at some point. If you do not have enough money to pay at the point when you are sick, then problem will start. So that's one. Likewise, say that again, Adia.
Is that a challenge? I can give you an equally creative response for healthcare.
I'll come to you. Yeah. So I mean, of course, Adia, the truth is, it's not everybody who's going to have a major illness that will require so much money. Okay, it's until it happens. Hold on a bit. It's when it happens, though, and it happens to you, then you really feel the pain, pinching from that shoe. Now, the second example I was talking about is life insurance. Again, which is, total loss of life. The final thing has happened, death has happened. But you've got kids in school, you're newly married, you're this. None of us thinks we're going to die today, right? But somebody is dying today as we speak, okay? Again, if you do not have enough money saved or in investments, and we're talking about an economy that is highly stressed already, and earning power is extremely low, how do you guarantee the quality of life for your children or your spouse that you leave behind? I can tell you a personal story about this as well, but let me keep it so that Adia can come in again.
All right, so
I don't have to. But
go on, Adia.
So I don't have to. My general point here is not against insurance, but it is that we need to be very aware that in reality, there are many easier propositions that challenge the value proposition of insurance, right? Look at COVID. Sit down and think about it. How many people do you know treated COVID in their houses without going to the isolation center? You know these people. You know these people. Do you understand? So again,
we are hearing from all of them.
It is the strength of the value proposition. And what was that you said about life insurance? You know what? You can only do so much. If you cannot provide for your children, are we not, all of us here, we've put money into funds for people's children after they've died? Are we here not supporting people's, our siblings' children, or in whatever case may be, family members' children who have needs? We do it. Again, these are the cultural contexts that we need to bring into our thinking for insurance. Look, I'm happy to sit down and help you reimagine insurance, Bayo. Honestly, if I find a company that is willing to do it, I can chill there. Because I think it's definitely something that people need, but if we continue to keep selling it in its current form, there are just too many, the reality just challenges the value proposition. And you mentioned the regulator. Sure. What is the regulator doing to make, because one of the things we have to do now is explore, how to make insurance cheaper to manage and drive in this country. How are we embracing digital means of providing and delivering on insurance? Do you know what I mean? Like I've heard of struggles from insurtech companies. How many do we have? Fintech everywhere. Most of them are payments and credit companies. How many insurtech companies are there? Even from the existing ones, right? I don't know what's the regulators' interest in creating an enabling environment for insurtech, or are they doing the opposite? Who knows? So
too many things to digest. We have a lot of questions coming in. We'll try to go through all of them. While of course, the funny thing is, it does feel like people did not know insurance companies, and I think Bayo, you may be able to answer this. It seemed at some point that people didn't know insurance companies, but when it looked like insurance companies were stepping into maybe not insure investments, but basically step into have those conversations, people were then saying, oh, because this insurance company is part of it, I would put my money into it. How did you guys process that? Because obviously there was brand recognition for the insurance company, but then when it comes to this conversation about individual insurance, then we all look, or we have selective amnesia.
So, thanks. Adia is cracking me up here. So I was going to, and thanks for that question. I was going to sort of even give a few examples, right? When we talk about how are we reimagining insurance, okay, to make it relevant to these various sort of customer scenarios that Adia has helped to raise here. So, for example, we have a malaria product that costs $1 or the equivalent, 450 naira for a month. And it provides you with access to proper medication at our pharmacy network, and we've got representation all over the country providing this service as well. Okay, so you don't need to go into a hospital at heavy bills. With 450 naira in the month, there is quality care thing that is, back to the point you gave. For example, partnering with Agric, insurtech or Agric tech companies like Adia's, where you can insure farmers' yield against loss. Is something also that we do. Again, that makes it relevant. Now, you're not going to be speaking grammar to the farmer on his farm. That's not his business, really. His core, focus is these crops that I'm putting in the ground here, what's my yield and how much am I going to be able to get for it with very thin margins. So in the case of I'm happy that somebody is still going to come and give me the full value for what I expected to get out of the ground. And I think that, borrowing Adia's term, that we are certainly reimagining and reinventing insurance to extend it beyond the middle and upper class segments that traditionally is where everyone is focused for this 1% of the market, that everyone's been fighting over. But there's a lot of work to do. There are millions who need support. They don't have plenty of money to throw around. In fact, I would almost say that we've been selling insurance to the people who don't need it. All of us on the call today, if you had to go into the hospital or if your car gets bashed, you can probably cough up, not probably, you will cough up the money, to sort out the damage or the need. It's the people who can't do it that actually really need this service. And we're addressing that.
I'm pretty pleased, Bayo, that your firm has this services now. Because I remember that was many years ago when I was speaking to you guys about getting health insurance. Even me, I just thought to myself, you people are high for me. I'm here. But I like the fact that it's evolved. It was like, I was like, I'm still like this. I'm not making that kind of money. So, but I'm really pleased to hear that. And dispensing is always a thing keen to my heart. So I'll be taking questions. Now, this person is asking, okay, I want to answer your questions, but I'm not sure if I do like the fact that I'm seeing anonymous attendee. I would like to have your names so that I can, ask the question appropriately. So this is Rugba Karika, who's saying, hello, I appreciate the conversation being had. What is the possibility of, like I said, combining affordable HMO health insurance with a pension scheme? I think we've already answered that. She says, or he says that this would improve adoption. Teresa says, what is your take on future of affordable micro healthcare insurance? I think we've also answered that. Andrew Iyaji, it says, what is our job, please? Hey. Adia, please help us on, do I know?
I think it goes by many names. To be honest, I don't even know what it is in Urobo, and I'm sure we have it in Urobo. But I've heard it called Ajo.
Esusu, exactly.
So Ajo, Esusu, same thing.
Yeah, it's I was almost caught there. Yeah. This I've missed that. Let me go to Chibuike's question. Says it is always good to learn from others and what they are doing, all right, so we can replicate and scale up in terms of mass product or market adoption of insurance, especially health insurance. Is there an African country that has done it that we can learn from what they are doing and how they did it? Bayo, I'm coming to you on this. Ghana is our next door neighbor. They do not have our GDP. They do not have our size. They seem to be far ahead of us in the conversation of micro pensions, micro insurance. Why, Bayo? It's this Chibuike's question is amazing. Why? Help me.
Okay, so I will say that there are different regulatory environments. Okay, in the two countries. I don't know can you still hear me, Tunji?
Yes, we can.
So I will just put that down to the different economic and regulatory environments. Yes, different economic and regulatory environments in those countries. Before we started the session formally, we were having this conversation about even South Africa, right? And Esigie made the point that.
Did we lose Bayo there? I think we did. Wow. Okay, we've lost Bayo. Hopefully he comes back.
And the internet has been acting up lately everywhere. So I feel for Bayo.
From Andrew Yaji, who is asking that how.
I'm back.
Oh, okay, Bayo. Awesome.
Do
we want to try with your video off?
So I didn't finish.
Adia, are you sure Bayo wants to do that?
Okay, I'll put that off. Hopefully that helps. Can you hear me still?
Yes, we can hear
I
you.
can hear you.
So I was talking about the chat we had before the session. Before the session started, where Esigie made the point about South Africa also having a higher penetration, market penetration for insurance, even though there are only 60 million or thereabouts of them. And as we were saying, there are several contributory factors. The economic situation of the country is a major one in terms of disposable income. So that's major, and that doesn't, it's not really about how many you have. It's what can they afford. Regulation is also a major part.
All right, so now we can take the question. I'm sure Bios, go ahead and switch your internet.
Andrew Jai is asking, how and from where do you obtain your data for verification from?
Okay, and I think the question was how and where do we get our data from?
Yes, yes.
Okay, that's a very good question. So Nigeria has licensed ID verification organizations, and we're one of the few. The Nigerian Identity Management Commission is the authoritative source of identity and foundational identity for all Nigerians, while all other organizations like CBN NIBS, FRSC, or Passport are functional IDs that bounce off of that. We are licensed directly by NIMSI, and we are also licensed directly by FRSC. So we have a direct contract with driver's license as well to bring driver's license products to the insurance industry and insurance community. So the how and where is that we are a direct source licensed company in Nigeria to help close the credibility gap to fintech so that they can onboard customers at a very fast rate.
Awesome. So there's a lot of questions for him to come back. There's everybody wants Bayo. We need your internet backup because
I'm here.
Awesome.
I'm here.
All right, let me go back up and start the questions again.
Yeah.
So this person is saying, okay, this is more company-wise. So Adeyemi Adegbayi says, I've seen an interesting insurance model with Pineapple from South Africa, where they return a percentage of insurance premiums when unused. I think this could be an interesting model to consider in adoption by the mass market. Why don't we see more plans like this in this market? So it's more like insurance/savings. Bayo, is there any thought around that? Or does the regulator even allow this?
There are currently savings-linked insurance products as well here. So maybe I don't understand the question properly, but today you can buy insurance plans that also double up as savings plans. For example, we've got bonus life insurance, which essentially you buy insurance for a period of time, and God help us all, as we say here, if nothing does happen to you in that time, you get your money back with the interest that's accumulated on it as well after the tenure. Okay, so that's one example, and there are others as well. Even instant plan and lower amounts that you can use to save. Life savings insurance is there as well. Beyond that, because I think I see from some of the questions, perhaps allow me to just explain a bit more about what we do. Beyond even just your normal insurance plans, AXA Mansard also has an asset and investment subsidiary through which you can also actually purchase or take out investment plans as well. So if you want to do this under one umbrella, that would be one way to go. Because I see that somewhere in here where somebody said about partnering with other providers, like going the entire the value chain. So don't just give me insurance, but are you partnering with funeral service providers as well? So I just deal with you and I get the whole service. That is something that we already have very, very clearly within our health business. We have this also within our investment business, where we're partnered up with even fintechs. You know, there are a few of them, FindReach, and even what was it? Oh God, the name escapes me now. But you know, a few of them, and we're bringing in more. Okay, so that you can, from your plans with us, you are also within a larger ecosystem where you can do other things as well and diversify. You know, for those that, however small the amount is, but you start with us small today. In 5 years' time, you're able to do more, just like Adia was saying. So start small and build a relationship with these customers, empower them, help them to deal with all the small challenges that are there. You know, you're sick, don't worry, the hospital is here. You get care from there. Tell us how they didn't do you right, we'll sort you out after. That's the kind of partnership that people are looking for. We're trying to provide it. Chaka is the name of the other partner I was trying to.
Okay. Bayo, just before please, let's connect later after this conversation. I wanted to ask, Jude Atebe is asking, Esigie, we are an SME and identity verification of our clients has been a challenge. How do we get on using your service for KYC?
Fantastic. You know, go to verifyme.ng and you can contact us there. We have a very robust API ecosystem. You can get different forms of ID verification, including additional forms over API like address as well, because addressing for locationing and even for recovery is also very important to a lot of our customers. Depending on you, many of our customers can plug into our API within days. It's a REST API system that uses a standard format that many companies, basically it's just standard to use out there. So it's very easy to connect to us. VerifyMe.ng. If you want to look at our API documents, go to verifyme.ng/docs, and our API library for everything, NIN, BVN, driver's license, including, by the way, the ability to onboard customers using a phone number, because we also know that the customer base for people who are on SMS is probably 100 million as opposed to 20 or 30 million for the smartphone user base. So it's quite easy, verifyme.ng. We look forward to hearing from you, by the way. Thank you.
I want to ask both Adia and Bayo this question. Adia, from the business perspective, this is Oloko Olayinka. Adia, first to you. This person is asking that I appreciate the conversation that's been had. Someone trying to bootstrap an insurtech company, what advice do you have in circumventing the problem of regulation? And as a piggyback question, can you create a standalone product that both the user and big insurance companies can service? So the question is Adia, then the second question is Bayo.
I have bad news for you. I do not think regulation can be circumvented. I think you should come up with a different plan. You have to just recognize the regulator that you have and find a way to work with them. And if you are unable to do that, find something else to do, right? But any approach that involves circumventing regulation applies too much risk, and your time and energy is better spent elsewhere.
Amen.
And so let me add one thing to what Adia says, because this is also very important. One of the things I've realized, especially as and I'm sure Adia and Bayo attest to this, as business owners in Nigeria or people who lead companies, is that we need self-agency, right, in engaging our government. So you won't circumvent regulation, but what you can do is to begin to look at organizations, your chamber of commerce, industry associations, to get in the conversation so that government can shape the right regulation so that industries can grow at a fast rate. You won't circumvent, but you can engage in self-agency so that we can engage our government and get the right type of regulation that we need.
And I would say industries can grow. I can't even tell you get at a fast rate.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. Thank you, Adia, for that reality. It's true. It's true. So industry can grow. Whether it's fast or not now is even a different situation, but we definitely need the self-agents.
I agree. But please do not ascribe your aspirations to your regulator in any way, shape, or form. That is a hope. So I would say if you are a smart enough person to be looking at InsurTech, you can apply your mind elsewhere if you don't like it.
All right, Bayo, the second part of the question is, can you create a standalone product that can both service to users and big can you create a standalone product that both the users and big insurance companies can service? So I'm thinking, I'm not entirely sure what that question is about, but did you get it? If you don't get it, we'll just move on. I just got lost there somewhere in the question. But I think the first part has been answered.
I don't know, that, a standalone product that corporates and individuals can use. That's kind of like how I'm distilling it in my mind.
Or probably paid for by, all right? Maybe something like fidelity or employment insurance, for example.
Well, I mean, if the person is here, please.
Question again, and we can take it again. So let's
maybe they can clarify the question.
Yeah. I think the question can be re-asked again so that we can have a better clarity to it. So this person is asking, Abdullah Isani is asking, good afternoon. So let's say I get a job and I come with health insurance. Is it advisable to outsource the insurance plan? Like I go to the dentist, physician and the likes. Thank you. So I'm thinking the person is asking, should they have health insurance outside their organizational health insurance? And I will tell you, you better find out what your organization is offering in terms of health insurance. You want to be very clear. But let me not be the one to answer this question. I'm speaking from experience because I thought at one point there was an organization that was giving me health insurance, and it looked like it's the same thing as Bayo explained as malaria insurance that he explained earlier, because I went there and the doctor said, well, this is what I believe you should take, but this is what your health insurance covers. So I'm sorry. So I had to pay out of pocket for everything. But Bayo, what are your thoughts?
No, so that's not what I was describing. Let me see if I can switch on my video as well. So what I described was malaria cover. As I said, that's specific to malaria, and that is something that is administered through a network of pharmacies. So not actually going in to see a doctor, right? Okay. What you've described is basically, I think what must have happened to you is that they had you on a lower plan. Clearly, the point the doctor was making is your plan cannot pay for this medicine that I should really give you. So I want to give you another one that fits your plan. And typically, the standard thing, health insurance. Yeah, so they're different plans anyway. To the question that was asked, I think you answered it very well, actually. You need to check for what is covered under the plan that your employer is giving you. If your own supersedes it, I suggest you keep your own as well. After all, you are not paying, for the one from your employer. If you like the job, then take the job but keep the plan. Yeah, and if it's vice versa, then you can stop with your one because you have a superior plan anyway from your employer. It's really straightforward.
All right, so guys, there's going to be a few poll questions that will be coming up, and I hope everybody in the audience can please just quickly answer the poll questions. If you can the polls go up, please, so that we can quickly just go through them. So the first is, what do you know about digital identity? So please click on it right now. You'll be able to vote. Let's know if we are in the right place. 2, how important do you think insurance is in Nigeria's tech industry? We've been talking a lot about that. Three is digital identity pivotal to making insurance more accessible in Nigeria? So please do answer those poll questions quickly so that we can go to this. Amazing conversations we're already having. But I wanted to ask this question. So Adia, your new venture, does insurance make it easier for more smaller companies to roll out and be able to cover some form of risk? I know that it's minimal. It's not something that you can cover industry wise or your entire yield wise, but at least does it present some form of, will I call it succor, at least when you're looking at the bottom line?
You want it to, you expect it to, but you actually really don't know until the incident occurs.
Happens.
And then you now attempt to make it clean, right? And at that point in time, the rubber meets the road, right? And you now, either are working with a partner that is willing to pay out, or a partner that is adding friction to the process. Which unfortunately, our insurers, your reputation is not great for actually paying out. So I think there could be a lot more trust in those relationships, right? Of course, I know that there are people that try to make fraudulent claims all the time. That's all well, right? But it's very tough for a business to have made that investment, and then on the other side of an incident, there's now because you have salaries to pay, you have statutory requirements to meet, and so on and so forth. So yeah, let's just say, it's one of those things where when there's a test, and if a partner fails, I'm looking for a different partner in the hope that you get somebody that gives you what you. So the experience so far is mixed.
Absolutely agree. And the question on the other side is always about how the identity makes that, identity management in those kind of scenarios. Because things, Esigie, you have your work cut out for you.
I do.
I don't envy you, but there's always the conversation where it's where you put the most work that you're able to get the most money. So I hope your sleeves are rolled up. Oh, you're even wearing a polo shirt, so you don't need
exactly. Yeah, don't worry. We plan to be a unicorn. And it's been great for us. Like I always tell people, something surprising that happened last year because of also because of COVID is we are literally seeing month to month 30% transaction growth from our insurance and fintech customers, because everybody understands how important digital identification is today. From a risk perspective, from a compliance perspective, from a recovery perspective. So it's a very good space for us to be in right now. We're growing significantly. We have a lot of partners and customers. And yeah, we're definitely looking to do more, but we're looking to get involved in regulation so that the entire ecosystem could be better. Like we say, what we really want to do is not just, push an identity to our customers, but we're interested in building a KYC service infrastructure for our country. We're building for Nigeria, and that's what we want to do.
Oh, okay. So I think Okolo Olayinka is back. There was a person who had a previous question and says, I mean a middle ground product that onboards users and the okay, I'm lost again. Joy Ajuluku. Joy says, Joy says to the insurance speakers, speaking to Bayo, what are your thoughts on banks having insurance against fraudulent bank transactions? What are the technicalities to make this either impossible or possible? So I'm guessing insurance against fraud. And this of course is a wider conversation Bayo. Insurance against, such. Insurance against, I want to put my money somewhere. Can you de-risk my insurance and my investment? I know we've not started talking about this I'm sorry, I know we've not started rolling out these products as an industry, but are there conversations about it?
Okay, thanks, Tunji. So, and I wanted to even, I saw the poll, and I was going to say that the second question there, I think I didn't get a chance to fully respond to it when we started. But, which is, is insurance important to the growth of the digital economy or something along those lines?
Yeah.
As do organizations, as do even the telcos, anybody who is delivering services or providing services, leveraging on technology, right? And innovation sits within that economy. Now, why would insurance be important to that segment? I was trying to tell a story when we started, so let me try and do it this way. Maybe if I can get it in now. The first event that we sponsored when I joined AXA was a fintech event. And I remember I said then, when I got up to speak, that everyone in the room, all the entrepreneurs, there was a hackathon as well, on the program. I said, everybody in that room, the fintech owners, staff, entrepreneurs, they're all superheroes. And what do superheroes do? Superheroes go above and beyond to make the lives of the rest of us better. They fight for our freedoms. They bring, in this case, innovations. They are transforming our lives. So the digital economy is leveraging off of a lot of the reforms that started 20 odd years ago, 20, 21 years ago within the banks and the telcos, what brought the same reforms that brought mobile telephones into the country, etc. And within the last 5 years, the pace of change and transformation is it's phenomenal. Now, you want those organizations, we want them to keep doing what they're doing because it benefits all of us. And it cuts across all sectors: health, entertainment, finance, Agric, Adia is here, etc. and all. You want them to be able to continue to operate and to do what they do. Now, last year, and we're still in it, we're still in the middle of the pandemic, right? The pandemic has wreaked havoc, decimated the economy. We can't afford another lockdown because how will people eat and all? And on top of that, you had the NSAS protests as well, which led to also loss of lives, right? On a far lower scale than the pandemic, of course, but also loss of property as well and economic opportunity, to a lot of small business owners. That's life happening. And I remember during in the aftermath of NSAS, a few people, put up posts trying to get support and donations for small business owners in their areas that were affected. I remember a video from Surulere, a friend of mine organized one effort like that, and they got money together because the guy's shop was completely destroyed. Okay, that is life happening, right? The event I spoke about in 2017 was organized by Bolaji Fini, who's a personal friend, founder of Right Click and co-founder of Impact Hub. Unfortunately, Bolaji isn't with us anymore today. Again, that's life. Life happens. What the insurance industry or the insurance players should do, ought to do, is to support all these superheroes in this space, so that in the eventuality of whether it is loss of life or loss of, office, you can't pay staff because you haven't been able to operate, medical emergencies, your children need to be in school so that you can keep creating. That's what the insurance plan does. So are we important? I would say yes. And I encourage everybody on the call, there are different, we've established now that there are different plans. We have small, plans for small SMEs that are as low as 52,000 naira per annum, even lower, actually, even lower than that, depending on what you then want to cover. Are you covering just your materials, or are you covering both human and material resources, and then etc. to what tune? So I encourage everybody who is on the call. Everybody is doing great things. We need you to make it's difficult living in this country. You are one of the people or the sectors that are making it easier, right? So help us to help you. So to help us. That's what I would say.
All right. So I want to take our closing remarks. We still have a lot of questions coming in, but my job is to make sure we stay in time. I'm sorry, I would not. I see your questions, and they're really great questions, asking all sorts of things, but I can't help this one. This one from SO, I must ask. Bayo, this person is asking 2 questions. How do insurance companies solve for people who have had ailments from birth? And then the second question, why did the regulators shut down Yellow Life? What do regulators suggest is the best way to reach consumers at the bottom of the pyramid?
For the first question, I think I actually responded to that in the chat. So for all insurance plans, right, there is a need for full transparency. That's what the insurance company requests for. So in the case of health insurance, you have to disclose. This is the thing, okay, so that you come to equity with clean hands. Yeah. Disclose. There are preconditions that are excluded, some that can be included, that can be discussed, but you need to come clean first and then let the company then come back to you. It may be a case, kind of like the example Adia gave at the beginning, right? Where, okay, I'm already sick. Is it wrong for me to still want insurance? No. But like she said as well, the trade-off can then be, all right, we need to give you a customized plan because, this is also based on use. If you already have a condition, you're going to probably need, there are people that have conditions where they are on medication constantly, right? Those medications cost. There's a cost attached to them. They have to be sourced. They have to be provided. When COVID period now, so restricted movement, ideally you have to deliver, right, the meds to these people. So you're going to have to build all of that in. All I will say is come clean first. Let the company know exactly, what you're bringing to the table. Then they can respond to you. There is no closed or shut door, permanently shut door, I would say, right? For the second one, I think, the issue was around essentially kind of like creating a different currency, right? So, you're using airtime to then also be providing insurance services. At that time, we weren't ready for it. And when I say we, I mean maybe the country wasn't ready for it or the regulator wasn't ready for it.
Okay.
But that was
regulatory environments, yeah.
Yeah. So things are evolving, and we will certainly also keep trying. Okay, we'll get there.
All right. So I want to thank everybody for joining us. I want to thank Adia. I want to thank Bayo. Bayo has been on the hot seat today. So sorry, Bayo. We had to grill you. Unfortunately, you are the one that is the sector holder here. So sorry. Want to thank everybody. I really appreciate you. Want to thank TechCabal for also being support here. Thanking Esigie for the explanations around digital economy. So please do go to the website and check it out, VerifyMe.ng. Yes, www.verifyme.ng, and basically find out more about that. Adia, thank you very much for bringing life to the panel. You are always a pleasure to have around. Thank you very much. There will be a small, what's the word? In the chat room, there's a survey in the chat room just to let us know about questions that you may have. So please do go to the chat room and answer those questions there. I want to thank every single person again that joined us. We ran out of time. I was just getting carried away by the conversations, but thank you very much for joining us. Thank you and have an awesome day. See you. Have a great one.